Welcome to a world where the peaceful countryside hides shadows darker than the night itself. Tonight, we journey beyond the quaint farms and rolling hills into eerie tales that will chill you to your very core. These are three scary, true countryside horror stories. Stories from the remote corners of the world where nature's beauty meets the unknown, and sometimes the terrifying. In the quiet town of Millbrook, nestled deep in the countryside, locals have long spoken of a place few dare to go after sundown: the Whispering Woods. It's not just the darkness or the dense thicket of trees that keeps people away. It's something else, something that's been happening for over a century. Back in the late 1800s, a young woman named Eliza was traveling through these woods late one autumn evening. The full moon was her only guide. Legend says she was desperate, fleeing from someone, though no one knows exactly who or what. By morning, all that was found was her cloak snagged on a tree branch, and silence. Since then, locals have reported hearing soft whispers among the trees, not carried by the wind, but words, calling names. Some say if you stop and listen closely, the voices repeat your name, beckoning you deeper into the forest until you're lost forever.
Eliza. Eliza. Eliza.
A group of hikers decided to camp near the woods one fall night, thinking these were just old stories. But as darkness fell, their campfire began to flicker wildly, despite the lack of wind. Then the whispers started, soft at first, then almost desperate. One hiker swore he felt cold fingers brushing against his arm, but when he looked, no one was there. By morning, two of the group had vanished without a trace. Search parties scoured the woods but found no clues, except for a patch of ground where the grass was strangely flattened into a sinister pattern. To this day, people are told to never say your name aloud if you're near those trees after dark, because the Whispering Woods might just answer back, and you might not like what it has to say. Highways cutting through the countryside aren't always as empty as they seem. One such road, Route 37, is infamous for something chilling, an encounter that has been reported over countless decades. Around midnight, drivers traveling alone have spotted her, the Phantom Hitchhiker. She appears as a young woman, wearing a white dress, standing on the side of the road, soaked as if caught in rain. Many who stopped to offer her a ride described her as pale, her eyes sorrowful. But the story takes a sinister twist. Each driver who picked her up reported that she never spoke a word until they passed the old bridge at the edge of town. At that moment, without warning, she vanished from the back seat as if she dissolved into the mist. One study into these sightings revealed a tragic past. Over 50 years ago, a young woman named Mary died mysteriously near Route 37, hit by a car as she tried to cross the road on a stormy night. Her body was never recovered, but sightings of her ghostly figure have persisted ever since. One driver shared his chilling experience. "I saw her standing there, drenched, so I pulled over and let her in. She sat quietly, staring ahead. When we reached the bridge, I glanced back to introduce myself, and she was gone. The seat was dry, but her footprints were in the car, and my radio turned to static. Locals advise drivers never to stop for the Phantom Hitchhiker, fearing that those who do risk being caught between worlds, taken by a restless spirit, doomed to wander the countryside forever. In another remote farming village, there's a legend surrounding harvest night, the last night before the crops are gathered in autumn, a time believed to thicken the veil between the living and the dead. According to the elders, every so often, during harvest night, a mysterious visitor arrives. No one ever sees this visitor's face, as it's always hidden beneath a wide-brimmed hat or behind a veil. Those who have encountered the figure describe an overwhelming feeling of dread, the air growing unnaturally cold. One such encounter was told by an elderly farmer named Harold, who shared his story on his deathbed. It was many years ago. I was working late at the barn, finishing up some preparations for harvest. Suddenly, I felt a presence behind me. I turned to see a tall figure standing at the barn door, face obscured. I asked who they were, but they said nothing, just pointed toward the fields. Reluctantly, I followed them outside, and they stopped right at the edge of the cornfield. The hairs on my neck stood up. As I looked closer, I saw that the stalks were twisted, blackened, as if something had been feeding off them. Suddenly, the figure vanished, but after that night, strange things started happening. Crops rotting overnight, animals going missing, and an eerie shadow always lurking just beyond the tree line. Some believe this visitor is a cursed spirit, drawn to the fields to feed off the life energy of the land, dooming harvests and driving farmers to ruin. Others say it's an ancient guardian, warning those who disrespect the earth of dire consequences. What's most chilling about the harvest night visitor is that no one truly knows who or what it is. And once it chooses a farm, misfortune seems to follow like a shadow at noon. The countryside may seem like a sanctuary away from the chaos of the cities. But as we've seen tonight, some rural places hold secrets better left alone. The woods might whisper your name. A lonely road might offer a hitchhiker from beyond. And a shadowy visitor might roam the fields in the dead of harvest night. If you ever find yourself in these parts of the world, remember these stories and tread carefully, because not everything in the quiet countryside is as peaceful as it seems. Thank you for joining me on this dark journey into the unknown. If these stories sent shivers down your spine, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more true tales that haunt our world. Until next time, stay safe and keep your lights on.